You know, finding a mole on your breast can be one of those moments that just fills you with anxiety. And that reaction? It's completely understandable. But in this explainer, we're going to swap out that worry for some real clarity. We're going to give you the knowledge and hopefully the confidence to understand exactly what you're looking at. This feeling is just so common. You're just going about your day and then bam, you notice a spot that sends your mind racing. I want you to know you are absolutely not alone in this, and that's exactly why we're going to talk about it, openly and clearly. Okay, so let's just start with a big dose of reassurance. Moles can pop up pretty much anywhere on your body, and the breast area is definitely no exception. Our goal here is really simple. Let's learn the difference between a totally normal mole and one that might need a closer look from a doctor. So first things first, let's establish a baseline. What does a typical harmless mole actually look like? Knowing this is really the first step toward feeling confident and in control of the situation. So let's demystify what a mole even is. The medical term for them is nevi, and really, moles are just these little clusters of your body's pigment cells, which are called melanocytes. So instead of spreading out all nice and even, they decide to group together, and that forms the little spot you see on your skin. It's a totally normal biological thing. Okay, so a normal, happy mole, it generally follows a pretty predictable pattern. It's usually smaller than a pencil eraser. It's got a nice round or oval shape with smooth, clean edges, and it's one solid color all the way through. But maybe most importantly, it's stable. It looks the same today as it did a year ago. Just think of this as your mental checklist for what's normal. Now, to make keeping an eye on your moles even easier, we're going to use this brilliant method that doctors use all over the world, the ABCD rule. This is your personal toolkit for doing self-checks. First up, A is for asymmetry. So imagine drawing a line right down the middle of the mole. A normal mole will have two halves that are basically mirror images of each other. If one half looks pretty different from the other, that's asymmetry, and that's something to just take a note of. Next, B is for border. A normal mole has a really smooth, distinct edge, almost like a circle drawn with a compass. A border to be concerned about is irregular. It might look jagged or kind of scalloped or even blurry, almost like the color is bleeding out into the skin around it. Then we have C for color. A harmless mole is typically just one solid color. A red flag can be when you see a bunch of different colors or shades all within a single mole. So if you see a mix of tan, dark brown, black, or even little hints of red or blue, that's a reason to pay closer attention. D stands for diameter. Now, the general guideline is that normal moles are smaller than 6 millimeters. That's about the size of a pencil eraser. But look, this isn't a hard and fast rule. Some perfectly normal moles can be bigger than that. It's just a useful benchmark, especially when you consider it with all the other factors. And finally, E is for evolving, and this might just be the most important letter of them all. A normal mole is stable. It just stays the same. A mole that changes in any way, we're talking size, shape, color, even height, is evolving. And any new symptoms, like it starts to itch or bleed, that also counts as evolution. And any kind of evolution is your signal to get it checked out. So now that you've got this ABCDE toolkit, let's make it crystal clear. When do you stop just monitoring and actually make that call to your doctor? This is all about turning observation into action. Here are the 3 main triggers. Number 1, any rapid changes. If a mole looks different than it did a month or 2 ago, that's a call. 2, any new symptoms. Moles should just be, silent tenants on your skin. If one starts itching, hurting, or bleeding, it's speaking up for a reason. And 3, a new mole that appears after the age of 30. Now, it's often totally fine, but it's always wise to have it professionally evaluated. All right, finally, let's put all this knowledge into a bigger context. Understanding the life cycle of moles and busting a few key myths can really provide even more peace of mind. It's really important to know that hormones can affect your moles. It's super common for new moles to appear during puberty or for existing ones to get a bit darker or larger during pregnancy. These changes are often completely normal and are just related to hormonal shifts. The key is just to be aware that these life stages can bring changes, while of course still keeping an eye on them using your ABCDEs. Now for the most important myth we need to bust, right here, right now. Having moles on your breast has absolutely no connection to your risk for breast cancer. Let me say that again. Moles are a condition of the skin. Breast cancer is a condition of the breast tissue underneath. They are 2 completely separate things that just happen to share the same location on your body. So we end with this question for you. Knowledge really is the antidote to fear. You now have the baseline for what's normal, and you've got a simple toolkit, the ABCDEs, to monitor for changes. The goal here isn't to be worried all the time. The goal is to be aware, to be confident, and to be proactive in your own health.